Oh man, TNT is so fun. Hey guys, welcome back to another Minecraft video, and in this video, I'm going to be covering fireballs. Ghast fireballs to be specific, and as you saw last time, the command to summon a fireball is /summon fireball with a capital F, squiggle, squiggle, squiggle. That tells it to summon it right where you're standing. And then I'm not sure if I'm just going to do that. Yeah, the direction part is necessary. So do a fancy parentheses, then direction. These two guys. You need a colon in between direction and the little tiny parentheses, and then end off your parentheses. There you go, you got a fireball, and it blows up. But there's one part of the command that I didn't talk about last episode. So there is even more you can do with this. Now we're going to go into explosion power. Explosion power. Now remember guys, this is capital sensitive, so be very careful as to getting each and every part of the command perfect. And you can set the explosion power to anything. I don't suggest putting it much above 1000 unless you have a really good computer. So anyway, without further ado, I'm going to set this explosion power to 30. And this should create a pretty... Oops. Yeah. That was a mistake. The biggest lag that you'll get from this is literally the fire. That is simply the fire creating lighting updates, and that messes with your frames. That's the biggest problem with these things. However, you can see this crater is gigantic, and what I'm going to be covering is how big the craters are for each individual explosion size. Not every single one, because that's just kind of tedious to do. It starts jumping by a couple at a time. However, here we go. So I have each of these craters marked with what power explosions they were. So this was a explosion power 1, or you don't even have to type explosion power to get this one. So this is just basic. Followed by putting explosion power 2 will give you a small crater like this. Then here we have explosion power 3, which gives a pretty big crater, but sand's blast resistance is not terribly good, so it probably would make a smaller one in other substances. The reason I chose sand is that the sand would fall and demonstrate where all the rays were. And then we have explosion power 4. This is supposedly the same explosion power as a standard TNT. We might as well see that now. It might be actually 3, but I can't resist setting off a piece of TNT. I mean, who can? So, here we go. Let's blow that one up and see if it's about the same. I think it's going to be pretty much the same. Yeah, you see, the crater was about the same size. So here we have, now we're starting to get slightly larger than TNT. And as you can see, this crater is pretty big. Sand's blast resistance is low, as I said. But the TNT will create a pretty good sized crater, whether or not you're in stone or sand or bedrock. Actually, you'll be impressed as to what this stuff can blow up. So here we have explosion power 6, and as you can see, the craters keep getting bigger. This is 7. This is power 8. I'm going to start flying because it's hard to deal with things, and then at a certain point I'm going to have to start turning on speed. So now we have explosion power 9, which is about as big as it gets before it starts producing small rays. As you can see, these little blocks were destroyed out here. That is because the TNT renders explosions as going in big long streaks away. Like it will create stuff looking somewhat like this. You get the idea. So it will blow away blocks in streaks apart from that central crater. So as you can see, this thing is still getting pretty huge. I'm trying to fly. Can't fly. Man! There we go. So yeah, that's the crater of a power... Wait, no. I started to jump by 2 at this point. So this is a power 12 explosion, followed by a power 14. There is not much difference between the two. This one is slightly bigger. And now it's really starting to get serious with the rays. You can see these things are stretching out away from the central explosion. And this is power 16. Now we have power 18. And the rays were kind of hard to see on this one because the sand fell and all the rays were kind of lined up. So you can't quite see them as well, but here I have 20 and you can really see it now. These long stretches coming away from the explosion. And now we have power 22. Power 24. And as you can see, these things are huge. If you mess with the different powers, you should have a lot of fun just seeing what these things can bring up, and you can just see the explosion power just slowly increasing from that end over there to over here. And now we're at, that was 24, so I believe this is 26 now. And I decided to move my fort after that point. Now you can really see the sort of the star shape that comes off of these explosions at, let's see, is this 30? Yes, this is explosion power 30. And you can also start to see these strange big squares that the explosion generates. That's just because of the ray format. And the rays go around these blocks no matter how big the explosion gets. It will never destroy those blocks, no matter how small the blast resistance. It's just the rendering of the explosion will tell the rays to go this way rather than through. There is no ray that will go straight at all. So those things will always be left there. Here we have more rays. You can really start... I've said really start to see them so many times. So I'm probably just going to just leave you guys to watch these different explosions as I fly past them. I'm going to stop talking for a little bit. Also, except for various landmarks that I will briefly read aloud. So this is when I first started getting really big lag spikes. When the explosion was rendering. I'm surprised the items are still here. So then we have, right, no talking. (42). By the way, if you hear sort of a rushing sound in the background, that's rain. 46. Hold on, I'm going to turn down my rudder distance. It's playing no skyblock and I wanted to see around. Oh no, which way was I going? Oh, this way. Hold on, I'm going to give myself speed. So, in case you didn't know, the command for speed is /effect, your name, my name's Hydra2, and then 1 is speed, then your duration, so 100,000 is the absolute maximum, so I'm just going to give myself infinite speed, basically. By the way, that's time in seconds. not ticks. Ticks would be tiny. And then you type in the tier your speed or any other effect. I'm not going to tell you what the other effects are because I can't think of them off the top of my head. But let's see here. That would be, I'm going to go with speed 10. And as you can see, I'm very fast now. So here we have, 50. And now I'll be moving my 10s. This is 60. $75. Darn it, I still can't fly. I really want to fly. There we go. I think we actually get a better overview from here. Now I believe over here is 100, but I might be mistaken.